All right, guys, we've installed our flight controller and our VTX to our frame. And the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to start we're going to need to put the motors on now, right? So here's what we can do here. The motors are kind of interesting because everything is equally spaced apart. And so I'm going to measure the motor wires here. And I was going to try to do it in such a way to where you did not have to cut the wires. And I guess for all purposes, you don't have to. I'm going to cheat a little on this one because normally you would want to cut these wires so that there's no excess, not a bunch of excess. But I think that the way I'm going to do this one, if I install this motor like this, come around like here, and then just have it attached, no, it's still going to make a lot actually. I don't think that's going to work. It's just going to be a ton of wire left over for nothing. But I was trying to make it as easy as possible for y'all. But unfortunately, I guess now looking at it, that's not going to be possible. So let's just see how we're going to do this. Okay. Because that would leave a lot of wire. So unfortunately, I don't think now, even if I go straight, now I don't like wrapping it around that standoff. So I could go straight like this. And if I was to go straight like this, I would still end up having to cut the wire. But I'm going to mark it, and I'm just going to tell you guys, it's up to y'all how you want to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and mark my wire and make all 4 motor wires the same way. So let me just mark it here. Make sure that I've got enough to tie around. And even if I come this way, it's still going to be the same. All right. Sorry, I'm just kind of making notes here. So if I was to zip tie that down there, I'll go with something like this. I'm going to mark this right about like here. Now let me see what that measurement is exactly, and then I'll show you how we're going to cut these properly. So let me make a little mark, a little score on the wire. Okay, let me get the ruler, and let's see what I think would be a comfortable spot. Oh my gosh, I got to find my score now. I think 60 millimeters would be good. Let's test that again. Yeah. So we're going to go with 60 millimeters, okay? Now, some of you will recall if you have extra heat shrink, and I do, and if you have it, then it's very simple to do this. All you're going to do is grab one, measure it 60. This might actually be 60. Oh, it's 40. It's too bad. Let me see if I have anything longer. They may all be 40, and then I might be in trouble. Yep. All right, let me find something else. I know I've got some longer heat shrink or something. I just want to find something that I can repeat the process and it's the same each time. And maybe I don't have any, so I'll just measure 60. Here we go. Ready? So we're going to take our motor wires and we're going to start from, we're just basically going to put our ruler here, just like that, against the metal there, against the frame there of the motor, and we're going to run to 60 right here, and we're going to cut it. Okay? And then we're going to make sure these match. Just like that. I want them all the same. So there you go. Okay. Now we're going to open the rest of our motors. Make sure to take the contents of the motor. Here's the little bag. Save those. Okay. You can save these little plastic things if you want. I throw mine out because I have so many of them, but they make great things to like hold extra screws and things like that with. So now I'm just going to line these up. Now you can do one of two ways. You can either just take what you've cut off and measure that against, or because I cut 2 different ways, I'm just going to take this one and I'm going to use that as my guide right here. There we go. Okay, let's get to the next motor. And now I will use what I cut off because they're all cut the exact same length. Take the contents, put it here, take the bin, throw it out. Take the wire, place it here, and then cut accordingly. Just like that. Okay. I'll cut the first one, then I'll cut the rest of them accordingly. There we go. And we'll take the last motor right here. Contents, plastic and garbage. Take the wire, line it up. Right there, and cut. Excellent. Now take all this debris and get rid of it. Okay. All right. Well, I was trying to make it easier, but it's not going to be. So we're going to have to go ahead and strip all of these. So you might as well get to it. No time like the present. So let's go ahead and start stripping them down. And you're going to use about a 3 millimeter length here. So once you do it, it becomes habit forming. So right there, that's a little over 3. It'll be about between 3 and 4. That's fine. Just you don't want to go too big because you don't want these overlapping and touching the other motor wires when you solder them. Okay, so let's just do this. We'll do it quickly. Okay. Throw the trash out. All right, we got one more motor left. Then we're going to clean up the mess, and then we're going to tin them, solder them to the frame, to the flight controller, that is, and then we'll be ready to assemble the whole thing. All right, there we go. So let's get rid of the trash. Okay. There we go. Put our little bags there on the side. Get our flux pen, which is right here. Get all your motors, and just start putting the flux pen on them. Don't worry about twisting the strands yet. It's not important just yet. Want to make sure that they're open so we can get the flux in there. Where's my, there it is. Okay. All right, once we apply that, close your flux pen up, and again, hold the silicone and twist it while holding the strands. There we go. Okay. All right, and then we'll get the last motor here. Just like that, okay? Once that's done, now I've been using a helping hands, but here's how I would do it if I don't have a helping hands. I take something like my wire cutters, right? And I kind of just run the wires from the bottom to the top, which will make them stand up like that. Then I can do the same thing. I can just come in here, so don't worry about having to have helping hands. As a matter of fact, most of the time if you see my videos, I'm not using them because I like to go kind of quickly here. So there's one set of motors, and we're just going to basically tin these up right now. Just make sure the motor wires are spread apart enough to where you can get a good tin on them, just like that. And look at the next set. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, it's 2. So there's plenty of tools you can use. I mean, you know, there's obviously you want to learn the right methods, but at the same time, you know, I try to, I mean, it's not about going out and spending money so that you can accomplish the same thing with just, without having to have all the tools there, all the extras. Okay, there's the third motor. And now let's do the fourth one. Okay, and there we go. All right, now that that's done, we need to attach the motors. Oops, I hit something. We need to attach the motors to the flight controller, okay? Now, if you're not, like I said, if you're not comfortable soldering with that VTX on, then take the VTX off. But here's what we're gonna do. We're basically gonna come in very quickly, take your motor, like this is motor number 4 on the front here, okay? But you don't have to fasten it now, just take it, put the motor here, take the, if you have it like this, you're gonna take the inside wire, which if you're holding the motor like this, it's the wire to your left, okay? And you're gonna solder that to the farthest point over here, okay? And it's gonna be a very easy, I'll try to stand this up so you guys can see it, but it's gonna be a very easy solder, just like this. Stand it up, you should be able to see that, I think, yep. Stand it up like that, and just gently press it, and it'll go right into that spot. Okay, there you go. All right, then you're gonna take your middle wire from the motor. You're gonna do the same thing to the middle spot. just like that right there. There you go. Then you're going to take the outside wire, the outside spot right there, and there you go. See that? Now if you have any excess, like if you notice like right here there's a little point, I'm just going to take the wire cutter and just snip that little piece of solder off. It's perfect. Then when I put the motor down, I'm all set. The motor's going to fit. Let me make sure I have my wires laid out right. Yep, the motor's going to fit like this. And look at that. And then I'm going to tape this down right here, and this is going to look really good when it's done. Okay? So now let's do the next motor. Take the motor, like this one here. Okay? And we're going to go with the inside wire right here. Go here, and the outside wire will go right here. So I'll show you how this is going to work. I'll stand it up again so you can see it, okay? Just like that. And here's one. Then take the middle wire. That's two. Take the outside wire here. And there's three. Wait for it to cool. And boom. Look at that. Got yourself another nice motor wire. Okay? And everything's going to fit very nice. Fit perfect right in here. And then you can tape this down. Okay? So we'll do that last. Okay? So now we're going to go to our next set of motors. This is a little different because I am doing it as a right-handed soldering. But again, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go outside, middle, and inside. So just line them up, hold them in place. There you go. One. Two. And then we're going to do the third one. Here, three. There you go. Okay, and we can cut the excess off just like that. Sam, I can't have that. If that, can you lower it just a little bit? Only because if it picks it up, just like a one volume button. You don't turn it off. No, you turn it off. No, don't do that. I was just saying I don't want it picked up because then YouTube hits us with a copyright claim.
No, it's fine. No worries.
All right, thanks for your sacrifice. Okay. So there's that, and then we're going to do the last one over here. Okay, so I'm going to start here. There's one. Go to the middle wire. Two. Three. Okay. Now our motors are all wired up. Now all we're going to do is screw them into the frame. So let's get started with our little kit here. And please do me a favor and keep all the screws away from the motors, because the motors are magnetic. So you know what? That's a great idea. Take one of your little plastic containers and separate the long screws from the short ones. You will see that there are 4 long ones and 4 short ones. Put the short ones in the bin here. Okay, and you could do that for all the motors. You're only going to use the long ones. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get started screwing these in. Okay, just like that. Okay, and one thing, please, when you screw motors in, make sure to go cross corner. Do not go side by side. Cross this way. Make an X out of it, okay? Go. And don't tighten them beyond a regular finger tighten for now. Want to make sure everything fits properly. Okay, we'll go to the next motor. Open our next bag of screws. Take the small screws and put them in that plastic bin. And these are good to have. I mean, these are good screws, so save them, because when you're doing your next build or something, they'd be great to use. Okay, we're gonna go this way. All right, and then we'll do the next motor. We can get the soldering out of here. Okay, so we'll save the long ones, put the short ones. Okay. All right, thanks, man. All right, and then we have our last one. Okay. There you go. So now you have all your motors done properly. Everything is ready to go. Okay. And you can now either choose to zip tie or tape your motors down. Either way, just keep them organized and keep the wires looking good. For this, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm just going to zip tie these down just to make it quicker for me, so I can get going to the rest of this build and make sure to finish it. But if you were to tape it, you would basically tape it exactly in the same spot that I'm going to zip tie it, okay? So let me get my zip ties, which are missing. Where's my clear bag of zip ties? Okay, I just need the clear ones. If you know where they are. No? Just get some red ones then until we figure out where our stuff is. All right, here we go. We'll use some red zip ties, guys. Don't know where the black ones are, but I think the red's gonna look pretty cool anyway. So let's just do this. So when we zip tie these, just do them all the same way and put them in the same spot. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that your cables are flat. Okay, do not have them crossing under the zip tie. So make sure that they're flat just like that. And if you can kind of feed it up all the way as high, as close as you can, just like this. Keep it flat. And there's your zip tie. Okay, that's one zip tie. Put another one, same way. Right about here. Okay, and pay attention to how we're doing this because you want to keep it repetitive the whole way through. Same pattern, same zip tie direction, everything. So I've got these two. Okay. And what we're doing, if you've noticed, is we're going from the outside, from the outside, from the back to the front. So, and that way, all our zip ties are going to look the same when we're done. Okay, so keep it consistent, keep it symmetrical, just like that. Okay. Look at that, it's coming out nice. We'll go to the other side now.
I'm still looking for it.
It's okay, it's all right. I'm gonna just use the red ones for now, it's no big deal.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem.
Okay, there we go. And now we just have 2 more left, and that does it. Put the screw back in. All right, and once you're done, now you can go ahead and just lightly tighten the screws. Don't go crazy on them. Lightly tighten them down. All right, just like that. Just a little, like a little quarter turn from where you tightened them before. Okay. And there you go. Look how clean it is. Everything's clean and spaced out properly. I'm just going to put these on here just to hold them so I don't lose them. There you go. All right, and we are done. This was the longest video so far, and I apologize for that, but doing the motors, you got to be precise about it. The soldering has to be spot on. So there you go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to end this here, and we'll come back with the next step, which is going to be to basically start plugging everything in and getting it lined up. So I'll see you guys in just a minute.